Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. This is episode 35, Dancing in the Dark, why many crypto founders are fumbling around in the dark regarding global crypto regulations and what they can do about it. This compilation is a compilation of four Crypto Hipster podcasts, clips from four Crypto Hipster podcasts from season 6, one from season 6, two from season 7, and one from season 8. This interview is first, I spoke with Ramon Recuero in October of 2023. He is the co-founder of Kinto. We spoke about why KYC, AML, and Black Swan insurance are essential pillars to onboard institutions into decentralized protocols. The second clip is a conversation with Amy Kalnoki, who's the co-founder and COO, and Pat White, who's the co-founder and CEO at Bitwave. The conversation occurred shortly after, maybe even during, Consensus in 2024. And we talked about cutting through the bullshit U.S. regulatory hurdles to help provide your institution's CFO office with crypto financial reporting solutions that genuinely work. The third clip is with Nikolay Denisenko, who's the co-founder and CTO of Brighty. This was my season 8 podcast. Nikolay and I talked about how to blend fiat and crypto payments in a secure and compliant way. Last but not least, from season 7, spoke as a conversation with Norman Wooding, who's co-founder and CEO at SCRYPT. We talked about how to navigate the global regulatory environment successfully. That was from June of 2024, right before the conversation with Bitwave. And Nikolay's conversation and I occurred in August. Norman and Amy and Pat was in June, and Ramon was in October 2023. All four of these are covered under the area of regulatory and compliance. And again, the title of this podcast episode, of this Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls episode, is Dancing in the Dark, why many crypto founders are fumbling around in the dark regarding global crypto regulations and what they can do about it. I hope you enjoy. All my podcasts are available in their entirety on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, and this one is available. If you enjoy the clips, enjoy any part of the show, you can feel free, and please do, listen to the podcast in their entirety. Thank you, and I will see you next time on the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. Crypto has a few promises. Blockchain has a few promises, right? One of them used to be, and I don't know if this is still true, banking the unbanked, right? Is that still a promise of blockchain technology, despite all the implosions and the bank runs and everything that happened within the last year and a half?
Yes, I think so. And I think it's happening. The unbanked is a really complex concept because you can think about many different groups there. You can think about people in Africa, you can think people in the emerging world, but you can also think, for example, in societies like Argentina, and I spent a lot of time there because I also work for Open Zeppelin, the people that created the original ERC20 token, and the company was based there. They have something like 100% inflation every few months. So people there, and they're actually forbidden to use dollars. So there is like a huge black market for the dollars because people need to put their pesos, change them to something else as quickly as they get them to avoid getting their money, their value stolen by inflation. So everyone is using their stable coins. So I think in some segments, it's already happening that the crypto, through stable coins in this case, they're already helping communities to escape oppressive governments, helping preserve their purchasing power. And it's just going to increase. For example, I think in Africa, there is I mean, it looks like not so much, but it's growing quite quickly, and it has more penetration than more developed markets. I always say that in the US, people are usually the demographic that gets crypto the least, because when you tell them about, oh, the governments print a lot of money, you need to preserve your wealth, inflation, they have not seen hyperinflation recently, in a long time. So that's why they don't really understand it. But other countries that have lived in this kind of, for example, Eastern Europe, Turkey, Czech Republic, South America for sure, then they really understand it. So there are a lot of use cases. The problem with crypto is also it's too many things at once. It's a store of value for some people, like Bitcoin, and people compare it with gold. They call it digital oil, Ethereum. That is a platform for all applications that is going to be like the new internet, and it's going to support a lot of traditional finance. Then you have NFTs, art, to be able to help artists, and there are a lot of artists actually in emerging communities, emerging countries that are making a living through selling art and selling NFTs. And also another area that has not delivered to their promise yet is even gaming. In the past, even in the Philippines, games like Axis or even Stepping, they allowed people to make a living by being good at these games. Of course, it imploded because they're kind of, in the end, you need a game that is really good, and then you need a good crypto mechanic on top. Just the crypto is not gonna work if it's not a good game. But if you have a good game, think about something like Roblox or Minecraft or something like that, and then you add the crypto feature on top, then it can deliver a lot of value. But it's gonna take time. The same way the internet took like 20 years, something like Uber, something like these applications appear. The same is gonna happen I think it's gonna happen faster because now we have the internet to build upon, but it's gonna take maybe a few years more.
I hope it's not 20. I'll be like in my mid-70s. I'll be like, my kids will benefit. So, built-in insurance, right? So if there was built-in insurance, right, for black swan events, right, would that be something that's important? And I think, why would that be more important now than was, would ever before?
Yeah. Going to my previous project, that's one of the big insights that is like, okay, people are not going to care about investing in this really good investment opportunity if there is a chance they're going to get hacked or they're going to get scammed or someone is going to steal their money. That's why it's really important to build these shields. That is something that TradFi offers. For better or for worse, if someone, for example, with a credit card steals your credit card and then swipes it, then usually, at least in the US and in Europe, you can get that money back. You can cancel the credit card, and your bank usually will say, okay, that's not a transaction. And also, as we saw this spring, when the banks are starting to fail, the Fed step as a lender of last resort to avoid like a chain reaction. That creates a lot of different problems, but at least they resolve the acute crisis. So in Kinto, we are, besides having the KYC and AML that reduces the chances of hacks, because a hacker would need to first steal an identity, and this is the same that happens in TradFi. You can steal the identity of someone, clone them the credit card, the social security number, whatever, but it's a felony, so someone needs to do that, and then they need to use that identity to hack the smart contracts, so it's less likely. Then we also have the other protection of this insurance pool. We're gonna redirect part of the fees of the network, the sequencer fees, basically what users are paying for transactions. Part of that is going to be redirected to this insurance pool that will cover black swan events for the network. So as the network grows, this insurance pool is going to grow as well to protect users in case of this event.
So, I'm looking at these bank stress tests and I'm like wondering, crypto to me should be an asset. It is an asset, and a deposit, but definitely not a liability. So once that goes through, and I don't know if President Biden vetoed it, but when and if it goes through, what do you see as the potential for the future of the crypto industry in the U.S.?
Ames, you want to talk about the future here?
Yeah, I mean, I think
in order to get institutional and enterprise adoption, real big publicly traded companies and highly regulated financial institutions to adopt digital assets fully and for them to fully reach their potential, you need clear regulatory guidance. Businesses don't like to operate in a gray area. No one wants to go to jail. Your financial officer doesn't want to go to jail. Like, no one wants to break the law. And so until we have that framework that people feel confident in, and we get out of this period of this like ever shifting window of regulations and guidance, we won't see the full potential of digital assets in the US realized, because people don't want to operate in the gray area. They're going to move to a country or a jurisdiction and domicile there where they have a clear framework to work in, because no one wants the rules changing on them midway if you're building a company and a business. So I think that it's time for clear regulation and guidance, and then the US will continue to be the hotbed of innovation that it always has been.
Yeah, and the way I've heard this described that I really like, this was a very clever person said this, I did not come up with this, but was that, there's basically three types of risks that businesses take in America. And America is still, for the good parts or bad parts of America, we still are pretty good at capitalism. It's one of our specialties. There's three types of risks that the businesses in America think about. They think about market risk, technology risk, and regulatory risk. So market risk is new Coke, right? Like, we're gonna launch a product and see if people buy it, and that's let's see what happens. And American businesses are exceptionally good at dealing with market risk. It is what we do. It's like it is the core of American business. Technology risk is a middle ground. That's to say, like, that's like Tesla. Or SpaceX is a better one. When they said, we're going to start a company and we think that in 20 years, or in 10 years or 15 years, we can launch a booster and re-land it. And that's how we get our competitive advantage. And we're pretty good at that. Like, that's a middle ground for companies. Like, some businesses are great at it. Some businesses are terrible at it, but like, it's a middle ground. Across the board, American businesses hate regulatory risk because it means something can change. Trump can get elected or Biden can get elected, and suddenly the regulatory posture you're in is suddenly not the one that you thought you were in, and you've completely changed. So businesses hate regulatory risk. It creates risk to executives because they can go to jail. It creates risk to your business because it means that you're privy to the whims of politics and the whims of voters, which are, that's a rough place to be. And so where we are with crypto is we've kind of conquered the major technology risks. There's obviously, we've gone through all the market risks. There's great things still to be done, but this regulatory risk that American companies hate is still floating out there. And until we truly get rid of that from a overall perspective, like, we're just going to still be in this holding pattern, kind of fighting the good fight, but not seeing Coca-Cola or Walmart get deep into digital assets, because there is no world where they're willing to sacrifice $1 trillion business or $1 billion, whatever Walmart is now, for a $200 million crypto project.
Micah went live at the end of June, right?
Right.
I'd like to find out what the current state of the crypto regulatory.
What is current? Okay, so about the Mika, yeah, everybody is talking about. So everybody is preparing for that. So our compliance, legal team, engineers also working on everything related to the Mika. Very as a priority. So that's the number priority for us, because I do believe that not a lot of companies will be live after Mika live. Crypto companies, some of them will be closed. Some of them decided not to work in Europe. We are going to work in Europe. We think that this is a really opportunity for us to get a bigger market and more customers. It's really hard to define the conclusions about how Mika will impact, because there are a lot of, let's say, not required rules. It's just, some drafts that might go live and might not go live, but everybody and we take a lot of attention on how we can adjust our procedures to be compliant with that. So I would say like that. So there is no something that cannot be done, and also there is no any strict requirements right now at the current moment. we do understand how it can work, but the regulator itself hasn't defined the let's say the final list of rules that will be applied. Let's say like that. But again, so the MiCA itself, it will improve the crypto acceptance overall across the Europe. So the banks itself would be more, I would say, relaxed working with crypto, because again, so this set of rules defining the context that is understandable by everyone in this finance world. And I think this is the real problem right now, because some banks don't understand how crypto works. Even we do the compliance, the transaction monitoring, with screening of the customers, of all the funds. We're using best technology that we can do that. Any banks by default thinks that the crypto is very high risk. So everything related to crypto is really high risk. They doesn't care about what we apply to the customers, to the crypto itself, crypto funds and assets. And I think MiCA will put some good understanding on that processes. So everybody in this financial world in Europe, like the banks, the crypto virtual assets provider, will be like on the synchronized, would say like that.
Because it's synchronized, it's better equipped to build legitimate businesses, right?
Right.
How do you think Europe is set up for digital transformation successfully compared to the rest of the world, especially like the US?
It's going a little bit different way, because in the US it was kind of like banning everything, then allowing everything, then again banning everything, and it's kind of like struggling in real understanding on how this can be regulated. So in Europe, it's going a little bit more easier way. So they're not banned. So crypto is authorized by a lot of countries in Europe. So it's here. So especially Lithuania, so and Switzerland, where we have like headquarters, they do really understand how and how to say and allow the companies work with crypto. So that means that maybe like not all the countries, but most of the countries in Europe, they trying to give businesses and customers ability to work with crypto in this compliant way. So, and I would say like the evolution of crypto in Europe, as for me, is a little bit more better than in the US.
I want to talk about the adoption of crypto Web3. Is finance, and we're just talking about finance, is not just finance, right? What would that look like in the future?
Do you mean crypto as a financial instrument being adopted in various use cases, or do you mean blockchain technology?
Crypto and blockchain technology. Like the future of finance used to be, stocks and bonds, be just plain finance.
Okay.
Now has many different variables, right? So what
I think it's yeah. I think it's definitely an imagination land, right? So all asset classes will be tokenized for better efficiency, and that has various deterministic factors, anything from centralization of authority and control to immutability to transparency to accountability, etc. So if I'm a private organization, is it more efficient to tokenize my trading activities or my stocks or my bonds? Yes or no? If no, don't do it. If yes, great. But does that increased efficiency come with a lack or a mitigation or a diminished power or control over what happens within my ecosystem? I.e., is it a permissioned blockchain or not? So then we really go into it. And for me, it's just about making things easy and stupid proof. And stupid proof to me means human proof, right? I would have much more confidence in a smart contract. You pay me to wash your car, I wash it, I get paid. Versus human, ah, you didn't wash this. No, I don't believe it. No, it's still dirty. Let's go to a judge. Okay, jury of your peers. So maybe I've taken it way too extravagant, but I think efficiency is key, and efficiency will be brought about in various industries, sectors, and domains with blockchain, with AI, and with crypto. And crypto is more a ledger or a database. I know that's the literal definition of a blockchain, but to me, the reason you have a coin is because you're moving something around, right? Because you need some proof of ownership or some reward or an airdrop or a voting mechanism. There needs to be utility for the coin. Blockchain is somewhat more exciting, is that you don't need to have a coin. You can use it for corporate governance, for voting, for smart contracts, for aligning principal agency motivations, i.e., you don't need a contract to monitor someone and to punish them and reward them with bonuses. If everything is efficient and somewhat automated and you have various technological input data mechanisms, then you can automate, your entire life. You can look at land registration. You can look at supply chain. Like, there is no answer because there is no end to the potential of how we could improve by innovating and using technology.
Got it. So I want to. Interesting. So
That's normally when I scare people off at Christmas parties.
I scare them off at Thanksgiving. So we're like, so ongoing interest, and we talked about ETH staking, right? And concern about centralization, right? How do concerns about centralization impact institutional adoption? Are they going to like how are they looking at it?
I'd have to be a fly in the room, but for me, when I referenced centralization, I meant the authority, right? Like CBDCs looking at everything, having the power to stop the blockchain, if that makes sense. So to halt transactions, to freeze it, to whitelist or blacklist an address, to transfer funds, like the authority that certain permissioned blockchains or blockchains who appear to be decentralized but have a large number of validators or masternodes or people involved with the corporate governance, in fact, centralized. So that's where I was coming from. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the concern institutions may have on centralization is as quote unquote simple as, okay, where are all of the ETH masternodes technically? Are most of them in the US? Or is ETH now a US asset? Is it deemed and classified under the relevant jurisdiction and regulatory constraints? And I think that's the fear. I think that's a bit nonsense because, I mean, we can be technical, we can be philosophical, but borders are borders. And if I want to mine in Kazakhstan or the Maldives or the US, I think equating centralization or presence to being accountable to that jurisdiction is just silly.